Talk Ava. Learn English with confidence.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're talking about two small English words that cause a lot of confusion, by and until. They're both connected to time, but native speakers use them in very different ways. Once you understand the difference, your conversations will sound much more natural.
That's true. I often hear learners say things like, I'll finish my work until Friday, when they actually mean something different. Native speakers usually choose by in that situation because they're thinking about a deadline, not how long something continues.
That's exactly what we'll explore today. We won't memorize grammar rules or complicated charts. Instead, we'll learn through real-life conversations that sound like everyday English.
By the end of today's conversation, you'll know when by sounds natural and when until is the better choice.
Let's begin with by.
Imagine your manager gives you a project on Monday.
Before you leave the office, your manager says, please finish this report by Friday.
That's a sentence you'll hear very often.
Here, by Friday means the report must be completed no later than Friday.
You can finish it on Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday,
or Friday.
Any of those days are fine.
Now let's change the situation.
Imagine you're working on the report every day.
Your coworker asks, how long are you staying at the office?
You reply, I'll work until 6 o'clock.
That's different.
Here, until tells us the activity continues up to a certain time.
That's the biggest difference.
By gives a deadline.
Until tells us how long something continues.
Let's compare them.
Please send me the email by noon.
I'll be in my office until noon.
Same time.
Different meaning.
Here's another everyday example.
Imagine you're studying for an English exam.
Your teacher says, please submit your homework by Monday.
That's a deadline.
Now imagine you're studying at home.
Your friend asks, how long are you studying tonight?
You reply, I'll study until 10.
That's another natural conversation.
One sentence tells you when something must be done.
The other tells you when the activity stops.
Here's another situation.
You're planning dinner with friends.
One friend sends a message.
Please arrive by 7.
That means everyone should arrive no later than 7.
Another friend says, I have to work until 6.
That's why they can't arrive earlier.
Both words appear naturally in the same conversation.
Here's something learners often do.
Go ahead.
They say, I'll finish my homework until Friday.
Native speakers would usually say, I'll finish my homework by Friday.
Because Friday is the deadline.
If you say, I'll study until Friday, you're saying the studying continues every day up to Friday.
That's a completely different meaning.
Let's imagine another conversation.
You're preparing for a family vacation.
Your mother says, please pack your suitcase by Thursday evening.
Later, your father says, I'll be at work until 5.
Those are both very natural sentences.
Here's another example. You're talking with a coworker.
They ask, when do you need to finish the presentation?
You reply, by tomorrow morning. Then you ask another question.
How long are you staying today?
Your coworker answers, I'll stay until 8.
Same office.
Two different ideas.
Once you begin connecting by with deadlines
And until with something continuing over time.
choosing the right word becomes much easier.
Before we continue, we have a question for everyone listening today. Question for you. Which sentence sounds more natural to you? I'll send the email by Friday, or I'll stay at the office until Friday. Can you write your own sentence using either by or until in the comments? We'd love to read your examples.
Your examples always help other learners because everyone thinks of different everyday situations, and that's one of the best ways to build natural English.
If today's conversation is helping you speak more naturally, don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another English learner.
Thanks for joining us today.
Let's look at a few everyday situations where native speakers naturally choose between by and until. Once you hear enough examples, you'll begin noticing that these two words are talking about completely different ideas.
That's true, because native speakers usually ask themselves one simple question. Are they talking about a deadline, or are they talking about how long something continues?
Imagine you're working on a school project.
Your teacher says, please hand in your project by Wednesday.
That's a very natural sentence. Wednesday is the latest acceptable time. You could submit it on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday morning. They're all acceptable. Here's another situation. You're studying with a friend at the library. Your friend asks, how long are you staying? You reply, I'll stay until the library closes. That's another natural conversation. Your studying continues right up to closing time. Here's another example. You're preparing for an important meeting. Your manager says, please send everyone the agenda by 9 o'clock. That's a deadline. Later, your coworker asks another question. Will you be at your desk all morning? You answer, yes, I'll be here until lunch. That's exactly how native speakers speak. One sentence tells you when something must be completed. The other tells you how long you'll remain somewhere. Here's something learners sometimes ask. What's that? They wonder if they can say, I'll wait by 5 o'clock. Native speakers would normally say, I'll wait until 5 o'clock. Because waiting is something that continues over time. You're describing the duration. If you say, I'll arrive by 5 o'clock, that's different. Now you're talking about a deadline for arriving. Let's imagine another conversation. You're planning a weekend trip with friends. One friend says, please let me know by Thursday if you're coming. That's the latest day to give an answer. Another friend says, I'll be out of town until Thursday. That's why they can't reply earlier. Same conversation, two different meanings. Here's another everyday situation. You're cooking dinner. Your recipe says, bake the cake until the top turns golden. The baking continues up to that point. Later, your family asks when dessert will be ready. You reply, everything will be ready by 8. That's another natural example. Here's another conversation. You're talking with your neighbor. They ask, when do you need to pay the electricity bill? You answer, by the end of the month. Then you ask them a question. How long are you staying at your parents' house? They reply, until Sunday. That's another conversation you'll hear often. Here's something useful to remember. I think this one helps a lot. If someone asks, when is the latest time, you're probably looking for by. By tomorrow. By noon. By Friday. By the end of the week. But if someone asks, how long, you're probably looking for until. Until 6. Until tomorrow. Until the meeting starts. Until the rain stops. Those expressions sound completely natural. Here's one final situation. Two coworkers are finishing work for the day. One asks, when do we need to submit the budget? The other replies, by Friday afternoon. Then the first coworker asks another question. Are you staying late today? The other smiles and says, yes, I'll be here until 8. That's another perfect example of how native speakers naturally use by and until. Once you begin thinking about deadlines versus duration, choosing between these two words becomes much easier. And after enough listening practice, you'll naturally know when something needs to happen by a certain time and when something continues until a certain time. There's another reason by and until can be confusing. Sometimes they both appear in the same conversation, but they're describing completely different parts of the situation. That's a good point. Native speakers don't choose these words because they look similar. They choose them because one talks about a deadline and the other talks about how long something continues. Imagine you're getting ready for an important business trip. Your manager says, please book your flight by Wednesday. That's a very natural sentence. Wednesday is the latest day to book the ticket. A little later, you ask your manager another question. Will you be in the office tomorrow? Your manager replies, I'll be here until 4 o'clock. That's another natural conversation.
Booking the flight has a deadline.
Staying in the office continues until a certain time.
Here's another situation.
You're visiting your grandparents for the weekend.
Your grandmother says, please be here by noon. Lunch will be ready.
That means arriving before or at noon.
After lunch, everyone spends the afternoon together.
Your grandfather says, we'll be outside until sunset.
That's another common sentence.
They're talking about how long they'll stay outside.
Here's something learners sometimes notice.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often say, finish it by tomorrow.
That's because tomorrow is the deadline.
But they usually say, work on it until tomorrow.
Now the activity continues over time.
Those two sentences have very different meanings.
Let's imagine another conversation.
You're talking with a friend about exercising.
Your friend says, my trainer wants me to lose 5 kilograms by summer.
That's the goal.
Then your friend adds, I'm going to exercise every morning until summer.
That's another natural example.
One sentence gives the deadline.
The other describes the duration.
Here's another everyday situation.
You're waiting for a package to arrive.
The delivery company sends a message.
It says your package will arrive by 6 o'clock.
That's the latest delivery time.
While you're waiting, your neighbor asks if you're going out.
You reply, no, I'll stay home until it arrives.
That's exactly how native speakers speak.
Here's another example.
You're attending an evening English class.
The teacher says, please complete the writing exercise by the end of class.
Everyone starts writing.
A student asks another student, are you staying after class?
The student replies, no, I'll stay until class finishes.
That's another natural conversation.
Here's something useful to remember.
I think this helps a lot.
By often answers the question, what's the deadline?
By tomorrow.
By Friday.
By 9 o'clock.
By the end of the month.
Until answers a different question.
How long does it continue?
Until tomorrow.
Until Friday.
Until 9 o'clock.
Until the end of the month.
Those patterns sound completely natural.
Here's one final conversation.
Two friends are planning a weekend camping trip.
One friend says, please let me know by Thursday if you're coming.
The other replies, no problem. I'll be visiting my parents until Wednesday, so I'll message you that evening.
That's another realistic conversation where both words appear naturally because each one has a different purpose.
Once you begin thinking about the latest possible time versus how long something continues, choosing between by and until becomes much easier.
And after enough real conversations, you'll stop translating these words and start using them the way native speakers do. Let's spend some time on the expressions and situations where native speakers naturally use by and until. These are the kinds of conversations you'll hear at home, at work, at school, and while traveling.
I like this part because you'll notice that native speakers don't stop to think about grammar. They simply think about whether they're talking about a deadline or about how long something continues.
Imagine you're preparing for an important job interview.
Your friend asks, when do you need to send your application?
You reply, I have to send it by Friday afternoon.
That's a very natural sentence.
Friday afternoon is the latest acceptable time.
You could send it earlier.
On Wednesday.
Thursday.
Or Friday morning.
Any of those would meet the deadline.
Here's another situation.
You're helping your parents paint the living room.
Your mother asks, how long are you planning to work today?
You answer, we'll paint until sunset.
That's another natural conversation.
The painting continues up to sunset.
Here's another everyday example.
You're planning a birthday party.
Your friend sends a message saying, please let me know by Wednesday if you can come.
That's the deadline for replying.
Another friend says, I'll be visiting my grandparents until Wednesday.
That's why they can't answer sooner.
Same conversation.
Different meaning.
Here's something interesting.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often use by when talking about goals.
That's true.
Someone might say, I want to save enough money by the end of the year.
Or, I'd like to learn 500 new words by December.
Those are deadlines for personal goals.
But if they're talking about the process, they often use until.
For example, I'll keep saving until December.
Or, I'll study English until the exam.
Those activities continue over time.
Let's imagine another conversation.
You're waiting at the airport.
Your flight has been delayed.
A passenger asks the airline employee, when should we expect more information?
The employee replies, we'll give everyone an update by 3 o'clock.
That's the latest time for the announcement.
Another passenger asks, should we stay at the gate?
The employee says, yes, please remain here until we make another announcement.
That's exactly how native speakers speak.
Here's another situation.
You're studying with your classmates before an exam.
One student asks, when do we have to submit the practice test?
Another student replies, by tomorrow morning.
Then someone asks another question.
How long are you staying in the library?
The answer is, until it closes.
That's another natural exchange.
Here's another example.
You're making dinner.
Your recipe says, cook the rice until all the water is gone.
That's talking about duration.
Later, your family asks when dinner will be ready.
You reply, everything should be ready by 7.
That's talking about the deadline.
Here's something learners sometimes don't notice.
What's that?
Native speakers often use by as a point you must reach.
While until feels like a line that continues.
That's a nice way to picture it.
Imagine a finish line in a race.
By is reaching the finish line before or at that point.
Until is everything that happens while you're running toward it.
That picture makes the difference much easier to remember.
Here's one final situation.
2 friends are planning to meet for coffee.
One says, can you be here by 10?
The other replies, yes, but I'll be at another meeting until 9:30.
That's another conversation you'll hear naturally.
The more you connect by with deadlines and until with something continuing over time,
the easier these 2 words become in everyday English. Let's look at a few situations where native speakers naturally choose between by and until without stopping to think about grammar. These are the kinds of conversations you'll hear almost every day.
that's one of the best ways to learn because once you recognize the pattern, you'll begin choosing the correct word automatically.
Imagine you're working from home.
Your team is preparing for a big presentation.
Your manager sends everyone a message.
Please email your final slides by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
That's a very natural sentence.
10 o'clock is the deadline,
You can send them earlier,
8 o'clock,
9:30.
or 10 exactly.
Here's another situation.
After finishing your work, a coworker asks, how long will you be online today?
You reply, I'll be available until 6 this evening.
That's another natural conversation.
Your availability continues up to 6.
Here's another example.
You're helping your younger brother prepare for an exam.
Your parents say, please finish reviewing the chapters by Sunday.
That's the latest day they expect everything to be completed.
Your brother decides to study every evening.
He says, I'll study until Sunday.
That's a completely natural sentence.
One sentence gives the deadline.
Other describes how long the studying continues.
Here's something learners sometimes don't notice.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often hear until with activities that don't stop immediately.
That's true.
You might hear, I'll wait until you arrive. Or, we'll stay here until the rain stops.
Or she worked until midnight.
Those actions continue over time.
But with by, you're usually talking about completing something before a certain moment.
Such as, please reply by tomorrow.
Be here by 8.
Finish the report by Monday.
Those are all deadlines.
Let's imagine another conversation.
You're planning a family dinner.
Your mother says everyone should arrive by 7.
Your uncle calls.
He says, I'm still at work, but I'll be there before 7.
Later, your cousin sends another message.
I'll be working until 6:30, then I'll drive over.
That's another conversation that sounds completely natural.
Here's another situation.
You're waiting at the dentist's office.
The receptionist says the doctor will see you by 2 o'clock.
That's the latest expected time.
While you're waiting, another patient asks, how long have you been here?
You reply, I've been waiting until now, but I think my appointment is next.
That's another natural exchange.
Here's another example.
You're training for a charity marathon.
Your coach says, I'd like everyone to complete the training plan by September.
That's the goal.
A runner replies, I'll keep training until the race.
That's the preparation period.
One sentence focuses on the deadline.
The other focuses on the continuing activity.
Here's another everyday conversation.
2 friends are talking after work.
One asks, when do you need to return the library books?
The other replies, by next Friday.
Then the first friend asks another question.
How long are you staying in town?
The answer is, until next Monday.
That's another conversation you'll hear naturally.
Here's a useful learning tip. I think this one makes the difference much easier to remember.
Imagine by as a finish line.
Your job is simply to reach it before or at that point.
Now imagine until as the road leading to that finish line.
You're still moving along that road until you finally reach the end.
That simple picture helps many English learners remember the difference.
And after enough listening practice, you'll naturally choose by for deadlines and until for actions that continue over time.
Let's bring everything together with a few longer conversations. These examples sound very close to the way native speakers actually speak, and you'll notice that by and until appear naturally depending on whether someone is talking about a deadline or about how long something continues.
That's one of the best ways to learn because you're hearing these words in real situations instead of trying to remember grammar rules.
Imagine two friends are planning a weekend camping trip.
One friend asks, "When do we need to pack everything?"
The other replies, "Let's have everything ready by Friday evening."
That's the deadline.
A little later, they continue making plans.
One friend says, "I'll be working until 5 on Friday, so I'll come over after that."
That's another natural sentence.
Work continues up to 5 o'clock.
Packing needs to be completed by Friday evening.
Here's another situation.
Two coworkers are talking before a busy afternoon.
One asks, "When does the manager need the budget?"
The other replies, "She wants it by 3."
Then the first coworker asks another question.
"Are you staying in the office all afternoon?"
The coworker answers, "Yes, I'll be here until 6.
That's exactly how native speakers speak.
One sentence talks about the deadline.
The other talks about the duration.
Here's another example.
A family is preparing for a holiday.
One parent says, "Everyone needs to finish packing by tomorrow night."
Their daughter says, "I'll probably pack until bedtime."
Both sentences sound completely natural.
Packing must be completed by tomorrow night.
The activity continues until bedtime.
Here's something interesting.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often use both words in the same plan.
That's true.
Someone might say, "Please arrive by 8."
Then they add, "We'll probably stay until midnight."
Those two ideas appear together all the time.
The arrival has a deadline.
The visit has a duration.
Let's imagine another conversation.
Two university students are preparing for final exams. One asks, "When do you need to submit your research paper?"
The other replies, "By next Tuesday."
Then the first student asks, "How long are you planning to study tonight?"
The answer is, "Until the library closes."
That's another conversation you'll hear very often.
Here's another everyday situation.
You're meeting friends for dinner.
One friend sends a message saying, "Please get here by 7:30 because we've made a reservation."
Another friend replies, "I'll be at another appointment until 7, but I should still make it."
That's another realistic conversation.
Here's another example. You're talking with your neighbor on a Saturday morning.
Your neighbor says, "I need to finish painting the fence by this weekend."
You ask how much work is left.
They reply, "I'll probably keep painting until it gets dark."
Those two sentences work together naturally.
One focuses on the goal.
The other focuses on the time spent working.
Here's another situation.
You're waiting at the airport with a friend.
Your friend asks, "When should we be at the gate?"
You reply, "The airline wants everyone there by 1 o'clock.
Then your friend asks another question.
How long will we stay in the waiting area?"
You answer, "Until they begin boarding."
That's exactly how native speakers speak.
Here's something that helps many learners remember the difference.
I think this memory trick is very simple.
Imagine you're looking at a calendar.
A circle marks an important date.
Your goal is to finish something by that date.
Now imagine a clock.
The hands keep moving.
Your activity continues until the clock reaches a certain time. That's an easy picture to remember.
By is about reaching a point.
Until is about continuing toward a point.
Don't worry if you mix these words up from time to time. They're both related to time, so many English learners confuse them at first.
The important thing is to ask yourself one question. Am I talking about a deadline, or am I talking about how long something continues?
Once you build that habit, choosing between by and until becomes much easier.
The more you listen to real conversations, the more naturally these words will come to you.
Before long, you won't stop to think about grammar because the situation will guide you to the correct choice.
Thanks for spending your time with us today. We hope this conversation has made the difference between by and until much clearer.
Keep improving with our English podcast for learning, Easy English Learning, Podcast for Learning English, Real Life English Conversation, Learn More, Speak Better. And we'll see you in the next conversation.